Many heroes have entered here before. Wielding weapons and magic, skill and great power, they have all tried, and all failed to save a maiden kept locked away. You are that maiden. You are thought powerless by your captors, and perhaps those hero saviors who attempted to save you as well. But all of them are wrong. You are armed with your will, your wits, and whatever you can find in your room. A dress, maybe a mirror, or a family heirloom you stashed away. Even your shoes can and will be used to do what no one else has done. Save you.
Hi, I'm Ken Shannon.
And I'm Cassandra, I run a Maiden, and this is a how to play video for Maiden's Quest by Wizkids.
What makes Maiden's Quest different than other games is that it is designed to be played on the go. You carrying it around and playing it in short bursts whenever you'd like, during a commercial, while waiting in line for something, etc. But what makes it particularly exciting is that when you see someone else playing the game, you can sit down or stand up and play with them for as long as you'd like, playing against or with them, or perhaps even having a special serendipitous moment where you help them with a specific encounter, and both of you walk away with a permanent reward. We're going to be talking about the basic components of Maiden's Quest and how to build a deck. So if you are playing for the very first time, we highly suggest playing with either Dim or Jalissa Jones. They are the two easiest bad guy captors in the game. And you can play with any of the Maidens. They're all great. But in this particular case, we're going to go ahead and do Mr. Morrow because we're doing this impromptu and actually literally just broke some deck open and are going to reconstruct it. So the first thing you do is you take and choose a maiden. In this case, we have chosen Tatiana, who is the thief. And we flip her upside down to see what is required in the deck. So she actually builds your side of the deck, if you want to think of it that way. So she first requires a certain amount of health, 2 cunning, and 5 random. So we just look at her. We had already done this, but you can see here that she has 2 cunning, and then 5 random other health. Health are light blue, as a reminder. So we have built that portion of her deck. The next thing that happens is she has an heirloom. All maidens have one item that they always get. So always starting with the blue side on the left, you'll find her heirloom, the hood cloak, and then 14 other random items, which we have collected here from the vast assortment that comes with the game. Finally, she gets to choose a dress. As you can see, there are a plethora of dresses, all of which do different things. There's, if you want to go armor, if you want to go much more, and this is, by the way, a very easier dress to use. The ballroom dress gives you a lot of ability to be versatile because the unicorns represent wilds. But regardless of which dress you choose, in this case, she has chosen a sundress. You'll add that to your deck along with your maiden, and that is your maiden side of the deck. The second thing you must do to build a deck is you have to choose a captor. In this case, it's Mr. Morrow. And they do the same thing. You flip them over. They tell you the total number of obstacles you'll need and what level they'll be broken up as. So it needs 2 level 0s, which we've already obtained. 5 level 1s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, obstacles are white. Need 3 2s. 1, 2. 2 2s. We got them, or 3 2s. And 2 or 3 3s. Wow, okay, that's crazy. And then a level 4. Level 4 are like mini bosses. In many ways, they can be harder than the actual captor. They totally can mess you up. In this case, this is a Medusa, and later on you'll realize that needing any 8, not being able to get rid of the cards that you'd like easily, and her downgrading you even when she's just in your hand is pretty horrific. The next thing that's going to be on the line here is treasures. So we'll talk about how you can get treasures and what they are later, but you'll pick 2 random treasures, which we've done, to add to the deck. And then finally, 3 saviors. And they always go on the green side, but you can always remember everything always goes with the crowns at the bottom, as we discussed earlier. So that is how we build a deck. That's all we need. The last thing now that we've built it is how do we go ahead and put it together? You just simply shuffle the cards in the same orientation. And do that a few times. We'll just do it twice here for this demonstration. Cut the deck, and then take your rest cards and place them on the bottom. Rest cards look like this. They have a level 1, and then when you'll go through, and we'll discuss how to play later, it will slowly climb all the way up until level 4. But for right now, all we care about is putting the 2 of them in with level 1 on top. It goes at the bottom of your deck. Here's your reference card, and you're ready to play. One last little fun thing is, we will talk about gifts later. Gifts usually are gray on the front. You can just place them in your deck so that they're easy to carry around, or you can put them in your pocket, because they don't generally do anything until you interact with someone else, or you've obtained enough signatures on them. This one already has one, some guy named Ken Shannon. But they will be able to be used in the deck, and they just get pulled out whenever you want to interact with someone else. So that is a how to build your deck for Maiden's Quest.
All right, so I'm gonna run you through a level. So you cellar anything that isn't your character or an obstacle. Cellaring means you're just putting the card to the back, and you just keep going until you hit your character or a creature. So this character specifically upgrades either Cunning or Haste. So you fan out to 5 cards, which you get to pick from to upgrade. And I'm going to upgrade to the Lucky Rabbit because it has the unicorn symbol, which is a wild and is very useful in combat. And then the 5 cards get cellared, and they come up again after your rest. All right, and gray cards immediately get cellared, just like the items. So here we have a door. The door, I know I don't have any keys, and I know I don't have very much magic. I'm level 1, so I'm going to walk away from the door. Generally, to retreat, you pay a downgrade cost, which would be you fan out 5 cards and choose 1 to downgrade to run away from something. But in this case, since it's a level 0 door, you don't actually have to upgrade, and this is the only case that that applies. So you cellar that, and keep going, and keep going, and keep going, and keep going, and another door that I'm going to avoid. Hey, a level 1 monster, so I have to stop. So now that I've come across a level 1 monster, I have a choice. I can fight it, or I can run from it. In this case, I'm going to choose to fight it. So you fan out your 5 cards, just like you did with your character. 4 and 5. And the heals are down the hall. They don't matter to the fight, but we get to see them. And any gray cards, like this, get cellared, which means, again, putting it to the back of the deck. And any monsters that are a higher level than you, right here, also get cellared. So then you refan up to 5, 4 and 5. And then haste allows you to switch a monster for the current monster. So I'm gonna switch the goblin for the zombie, because I didn't have the win condition for the zombie, but I have the win condition for the goblin. So the goblin requires any 3 of the swords or cunning, and I have a combination thereof. Sword, sword, cunning. So we've killed it, and it gets me an upgrade. And I think I'm going to upgrade this one, because it gets me 3 hearts. Versus this one, because it's level 1 and I could use a little more life. Alright, and then after the fight is over, you cellar all of these cards, because you've defeated the monster, and it just goes to the back of the deck. Continuing on, we get to the evil consort. I think I'm gonna fight her too. I do have the option to run away if I choose, but she's level 1, can't be that bad, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So again, any monster that is higher level than we are gets moved to the back. All right, and back up to 5. This level 2 is higher than me, also goes back to the back. All right, so let's reevaluate. And again, the 6th card does not matter for the fight, but we get to see it. All right, and I need 2, and I only have 1. So I am subject to the bad stuff. This arrow means I get a downgraded card. So I have to choose one of my item cards to downgrade. So the downgrades are on the backs of the cards. That is not terrible. 2 magic are very useful. I'm gonna put those down. 1 magic and a heart is also relatively useful. A downgrade and a heart, that is not something I want. I think I will go with the magic and a heart. And that is how you downgrade cards as a result of bad stuff. So all 5 of those cards that we fanned go to the back, and we will encounter her again later. Goes to the back. Treasure, not an obstacle, goes to the back. Level 2 door, not an obstacle. More treasure, not an obstacle. And we've hit a rest. So now that we've hit a rest, we rotate the first rest card to level 2, and then we set it aside from the deck and shuffle.
Whenever you reach a rest card, you place them aside, shuffle your decks while retaining the same orientation, and then afterwards, cut your deck and place your rest cards on the bottom. Rest cards always end whatever encounter or experience you're occurring when you encounter them.
And that's how you play Maiden's Quest.